Welcome to Next Stop Exeter. I'm Frank Ferraro. Today we're at the Youth Fishing Derby, sponsored by the Exeter Sportsman's Club, and we're here at Reservoir Pond.
Well, good morning, and it is still morning because we started pretty early. I'm Joe Kennick, Jr. I'm past president of this club, proud to be so, and chairman of this fishing derby. We have more fun than the kids, if that's possible. Maybe we have so much fun because of the kids. I put it this way, the volunteers that really make this thing happen, I'm just the chairman, you know, I take the bows, I run my mouth, but the ones that do the work, there's the judging table right there. There's Scott Haight, our webmaster, has been busy as a bandit in a bank vault for about 2 weeks on this already, and they pull it all together every year. But it's funny, the same guys come and girls come back every year. Nancy Sinclair has been the camp nurse here for more derbies than I can count. And her husband, Tom Wharton, Dr. Wharton from over the hospital there, he's the vice president of the club for many years. I think he's not now. I think he's our communications officer now. Anyway, the derby, this is our 29th one, so it goes back that far.
Tell me about some of the fish that are that they're catching and what some of the big sizes might be.
Okay, well, this pond is a natural warm water pond. It supports a trout fishery in the early season when the water's cool, but the state stops talking. You probably talked to the warden this morning, Officer Benvenuti. They stop stocking it in late June, early June, even depending on the water temp. But it has its own warm water reproduction system here. This club, years and years ago, when I was a young man in the 50s, when they moved out here from up on J.D. Hill where the golf course is, they bought some bass and put them in here because they knew that the place would support bass. Well, the descendants of those Exeter Sportsman's Club bass are still active in this pond, but it also has chain pickerel, it has horned pout, it has great big suckers, American carp, and the white sucker as well. It has an occasional white perch, but it does have them. I don't know how they got here. And we even see an occasional crappie. And they usually get here by their tiny fry being carried in on the feathers of a bird's legs, the wading birds and the birds that hop from pond to pond. But those are all here because we see them. So the club buys 200 trout from a private hatchery. And it is the New Hampshire Fish and Game's policy that if anybody buys X number of fish, for kids only derby, they will match them. So yesterday, the state hatchery truck came right after our hatchery truck, and we put 400 trout in this pond yesterday morning, and we distributed them all up the shoreline so that the youngsters that have to cross the Boy Scout Project footbridge up there. There was a fine young Boy Scout named Mikey Sales who was looking for an Eagle project. Don Clement recommended him to me, and he put a nice footbridge over there so that you can easily get to the other shore now. Mm-hmm. And they crossed. But there's not enough space here for all the kids. We had pre-registered 153 kids, and I don't know how many were registered this morning that weren't pre-registered. Typically another half 100. We probably got the better part of 200 kids fishing today. And with your related adults, there's probably 300, 350 people on site this morning.
So what are some of the record sizes that you've seen?
Well, that big lady bass, if she gets caught again, she'll be over 5 pounds. She was over 4 last year. And she has, I think she missed 1 year, but she gets caught just about every year. Mm. And knowing that it's time for her to be doing reproduction, the kids promptly release her. They bring her in and get her weighed and send her on her way. So she'll run pretty near 5 pounds. And she's probably the biggest thing in here, in all honesty. Mm. But there are, among the good trout that are stocked, I think, let me check. Christine, what's your biggest trout so far? 14 inch rainbow, a couple of those. Usually we'll see a 16 to 18 inch brook trout or rainbow, especially when the warden knows that there's a kids derby coming up. He talks to the hatchery guys and they take a couple of their surplus great big guys and put them in and hope that one of the kids will catch them.
Good, good.
And I've already seen a big sucker. I haven't seen a horned pout, but we do catch them here. They in the collection there will be that. That's why we have a trophy for largest trout, a trophy for largest non-trout. And the third trophy is for smallest fish. It takes a skilled little fisher person to hook a 2 3/4 inch sunfish, but they do it every year. It's right around that range, 2 1/2, 2 3/4. The judges are down there doing the 1/8 of an inch trick. There is an incredible crowd of volunteers that make this thing happen, and an incredible crowd of sponsors. The Fishing Game Department is obviously a co-sponsor. When they send along 200 trout, they spent $600 on the other 200 trout. That tells you something, doesn't it? Okay, and they come all the way from their Powder Mill hatchery up in New Durham, and the private hatchery is an old state fisher hatchery in Ossipee that was purchased by these folks, and they run a fish farm up there. But when you look at that and the prizes, donations of prizes and all the rest of it, Foss Motors always makes a nice contribution and always puts a good vehicle on display. Dover Marine usually has a boat sitting here. This year I couldn't accommodate it because of the environmental protection that we have in place. We did a lot of work on our backstop and berm and field last year, and to protect it from any of the dirt being washed in, we had to have that. So there was no room for the boat this year, but next year it'll be back. It's very popular with the kids. They love to climb in it and have their picture taken and at the wheel of it's a nice bass boat, you know.
Yep.
You get good parking?
There's one right there. There we go.
One of our guys had the whole northern area. Yeah. You could take him 5.5 hours to get to the most northern location on the board.
Nice job, Deanna.
I'm James Benvenuti. I'm a conservation officer, New Hampshire Fishing Game in the District 6 area. Been on the job for about 4 years. We put fish in here every year for the kids to catch. Every year we put rainbows, 1-year-old rainbow trout, brook trout, 1-year-olds and 2-year-olds, and seems like every year the kids have a great time.
13 inches.
Is that a brook or is that a rainbow?
That's a brook trout.
Nice one.
Yeah,
Let's go this way, kid.
That's a really
Can we
big
see
brook
it?
trout.
Yeah, I want to get a picture of her outside here. It's a little bit too dark.
Lily, come here. Come here.
Excuse me.
Yeah. Now that turned out to be a tie this year. We've come close to that a couple other times, but this time it actually happened. Selena Hernandez repeats from a couple of years ago with the largest fish at a 14-inch brookie, and the only reason she's the trophy winner is because she caught it almost as soon as the derby started, turned it in. A little while later, here comes Nate Polnikovic, and guess what? Absolute tie. So, trophy goes to Selena, but Nate's going to follow her right up here, and they're both going to have a pick. He certainly is the runner-up of choice. Now, the largest non-pro, very shortly after the Derby opened, also Caleb Gardner. By the way, that was a 15-inch white sucker. The smallest fish, 2 3/4 inch sunfish, was caught by Brandon Blood. Now we get to an honorable mention here. Nicholas actually caught the biggest fish of the day right after the tournament, and right after the siren went off, he landed a 15-inch, 1 inch bigger than the two that were tied for first. He gets honorable mention. 1, 2, 3.